Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about Trump saying the U.S. is going to retake Panama. On a list of things I didn't expect to talk about this week, this is pretty high. Trump put out a couple of statements on the country of Panama and the Canal that are definitely worth examining. He said the United States would take the Panama Canal back because apparently he feels the tolls are too high. To be clear, reasserting control of the Panama Canal, which generates more than 7% of Panama's GDP when you're taking into account indirect factors, or about 3% on direct factors alone, would likely require military action. It seems unlikely that the Panamanian government would just hand the canal over and the economic activity along with it. Trump said, quote, "The fees being charged by Panama are ridiculous, especially knowing the extraordinary generosity that has been bestowed to Panama by the U.S. This complete ripoff of our country will immediately stop." He also said, quote, "If the principles, both moral and legal, of this magnanimous gesture of giving are not followed, then we will demand that the Panama Canal be returned to us in full and without question. To the officials of Panama, please be guided accordingly." Obviously, there's questions about the whole military action part of this, but I'd like to clear something up about the ridiculous fees first. Just 'cause. The canal no longer charges a flat per-ton rate for passage. But when you look up the average per-ton cost, the highest estimate I could find was about $10 per ton. Fair enough. That's definitely more than the $1.20 per ton the canal charged when it opened. But that was also more than 100 years ago. Adjusting for inflation from 1914, the $1.20 would now be almost $38 per ton. In other words, they're not even overcharging. I'm not sure it's a good idea to risk war over tolls paid by multi-billion-dollar shipping companies. The last time the United States invaded Panama, it cost the lives of 23 American service members and hundreds of civilians. For somebody whose supporters describe as the most anti-war president ever, maybe it's not a good idea to start a war just 'cause. From a foreign policy standpoint, it's probably not a great policy to create situations in which countries in the region believe they might need protection from U.S. action. That's how countries that exercise a lot of soft power, like China, get invitations to establish a military presence. It's worth noting that Panama recently elected a new president who promised closer ties with the U.S. I feel like suggesting you'll seize a significant portion of the country's GDP might make political figures turn away from the U.S. From a domestic standpoint, it would just be great if we could stop invading countries in the region, creating instability and refugees along the way. Many of the migrants and asylum seekers Trump's base dislikes are the product of this exact type of ill-conceived intervention. Let's hope this was just one of Trump's bizarre short-lived fascinations that disappears before it causes too much damage. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.